Imagine being stranded thousands of miles from home with no money and no possessions. Most people would feel hopeless in such a situation, cursing their misfortune. But for Zeno of Cyprus, this hardship became the turning point that shaped his life's work and legacy. Once a wealthy merchant, Zeno lost everything when his ship wrecked near Athens around 300 BCE. With little choice but to adapt, he wandered into a bookshop where he became fascinated by the works of Socrates. This curiosity led him to seek out and learn from the city's most respected philosophers. Eventually, as he began sharing his own teachings, he laid the foundation for a new school of thought, Stoicism. The philosophy takes its name from the Stoa Poikilai, a decorated public colonnade in Athens, where Zeno and his followers gathered for discussions. Today, the word Stoic is often used to describe someone who remains calm and unemotional in difficult situations. While this captures part of the philosophy, Stoicism is much more than just maintaining a composed demeanor. At its core, Stoicism teaches that everything in life follows a natural order of cause and effect, a rational structure known as the logos. While we may not always control what happens to us, we do have control over how we respond. Rather than wishing for an ideal world, Stoics focus on navigating the real world with wisdom and integrity, aiming for self-improvement through 4 key virtues. Practical wisdom is the ability to approach complex situations logically and calmly. Temperance is the practice of self-restraint and moderation. Justice is treating others fairly, even when they have wronged us. Courage is not just bravery in extreme situations, but also facing daily challenges with integrity and clarity. One of Rome's most famous Stoic philosophers, Seneca, once wrote, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." But Stoicism is not a philosophy of isolation or self-interest. Despite living in a time when Roman law treated slaves as mere property, Seneca advocated for their humane treatment, emphasizing our shared humanity. Stoicism does not promote passivity either. It teaches that real change comes from those who have first mastered themselves. One of the greatest Stoic figures in history was also one of Rome's most powerful leaders. Marcus Aurelius, emperor for nearly 2 decades, relied on Stoic principles to guide the empire through 2 major wars while enduring personal tragedies, including the deaths of several of his children. Centuries later, his writings would become a source of strength for Nelson Mandela during his 27 years of imprisonment. After his release and victory, Mandela chose a path of peace and reconciliation, believing that although the past could not be changed, people had the power to shape a better future. Though Stoicism as an organized school of thought faded over time, its influence has lasted through the ages. Christian thinkers like Thomas Aquinas admired its emphasis on virtue, and there are strong connections between Stoic ataraxia, a state of inner peace, and the Buddhist idea of nirvana. The philosophy has also shaped modern psychology. The Stoic teacher Epictetus once said that suffering does not come from events themselves, but from how we interpret them, a concept that strongly influenced modern cognitive and behavioral therapies. Similarly, Viktor Frankl's logotherapy, developed from his harrowing experiences as a concentration camp prisoner, is built on the Stoic idea that, even in the darkest times, we can find meaning and purpose by focusing on what we can control.